Oh gosh, it's already mid-February.
Yeah. No,
Oh my gosh.
Went great.
Good.
Went great. Very proud of her.
Good.
Are we good?
We're ready to go.
Okay, it is February 12th at 6 p.m. I'm going to call, what month are we in? February board meeting to order. Noting everyone is present, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of January 8th, 2024, Personnel Committee meeting minutes of January 11th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Bell?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Whitling?
Yes.
Buchenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I need a motion to approve the February 2024 expenses as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Flores?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Whitling?
Yes.
Buchenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Bell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then we're up to the treasurer's report.
Alrighty. Balance in the super now account at the end of January was $3,298,471.86. Outstanding checks totaled $31,492.43. We had January payroll carryover of $44,265.82, and January imprest fund $33,2478, leaving the adjusted bank balance at $3,219,388.83. Lunch program balance $71,921.90. Impressed fund at $5,000, leaving the balance at $3,296,310.73. Investments totaled $5,267,071.87, leaving the balance of all funds as of January 31 at $8,563,382.60. January receipts totaled $768,915.05. Expenses $999,456.36. The individual fund balances: education fund $5,804,296.96. Building fund $438,770.53. Transportation fund $987,696.16. IMRF $161,699.53. Working cash $267,426.45. Tort fund $324,002.25, and life safety $579,490.72. Interest for the month totaled $14,952.09. We did have quite a few distributions from the state. The normal state aid for $314,122. School lunch program $11,251.50. Regular transportation $92,777.48. Special ed transportation $55,021.67. Special ed orphanage $29,763.01. Special ed orphanage summer school $38,510. State free lunch $98.76. Title I $92.74. Title II $299. Title IV $47.06. IDEA flow through $81,435. ESSER III $36.25, and distribution from the federal government, the treasury, for $17,317.63, and no tax distributions, of course.
Anyone have any questions, concerns, comments for Mike? Okay, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
Second. Missouri? Yes. Whitney?
Yes.
Petrенko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Belt?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up is Miss Black.
Nope.
Nope.
Guest recognition, but we don't have.
Oh, sorry.
Just wanna make sure there's
Noting no public comments, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the staff report, which is Miss Black.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I don't really have much other to report besides what's in my report. We are going to be on Wednesday, recognizing students who have been especially safe at school this school year, and we'll be moving on to kindness. So I have some challenges for the students and the staff and myself over the next 6 weeks. And, we spent quite a bit of time last week with the RTI team looking over everyone's data and making new win groups based on that data. So we had to back things up a little bit because all of the days off and the remote days and things that happen, the teachers need a little bit more time to get their benchmarking completed. It's not missing those 3 days, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot when you're trying to fit in all those benchmark tests for students. Does anyone have any other questions?
Thank you.
Next, Dr. Quasney.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to share a few highlights from the board report this month. First, I had Cookie with a Cup. We have our list of our students who earned that. That's for students making good choices, showing positive behavior. They got to have a treat with Officer Hanson in the month of December. Also, we had Mr. Hodak invited our 8th grade band students to perform with the high school pep band for the first time ever. So that was fun and exciting. The students seemed to really enjoy their experience, and they got a fun shirt as well. So the picture is included in the report. And then 2 other quick things I wanted to share where we had our second quarter reward party for all of our qualifying students. They had a bowling trip, and they also had some lunch from Tony's Pizza and cookie and a drink. So they had a great time bowling. And then lastly, Mr. Sarsney is going to be coming over to the school in a couple weeks here to meet with our 8th graders like he does every year to go over the course selections. So that's going to be coming up on February 23rd. And then of course the parents will have input as well in terms of their courses that the students will be taking in high school. So it's always nice to have him come over and talk to the students first before they make their final selections. And answer any questions because they usually have a lot. Any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Meyer.
I didn't print all these out, so I just wanted to pass those around. It's just kind of what Dr. Quasney said too. The senior band and then Officer Hanson sent us a couple pictures too, so I wanted to share those as well with a couple of kids that he recognized for December. I don't have a whole lot in this board report. I want to talk about something I had in my last board report, but I also first want to say wishing thoughts, prayers to, like, Moments had a bad situation happen a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, and so we tried to show our support, which I know a lot of other surrounding schools showed their support by wearing red and black or doing something within them to show solidarity or whatever. I really think it's cool. It's a tragedy. And also a sophomore from ONU from Watsika passed away this weekend or something too. It was just a big conversation piece in Mantino, and I don't know if he had relation there or something, but it was the show choir, and it was a kind of a weird situation, just a couple bad tragedies within our community per se, within 50 miles or whatever. So just thinking about some of those people. We didn't talk about last month because we did our scores. One of the things that I'm really proud of Dr. Barker, Professor Barker, I'm not even sure he's Dr. Barker, but Dr. Gaham, a couple years ago when he was principal, they did this psychology fair. And I thought it was fantastic. And I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. I wrote about it last month, but I wrote about it. But it was really neat to see those Prairie State kids get in groups of 3s or 4s or whatever, and some of you were there. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. So some of you were there to see your kids or grandkids, and it was interesting to go and listen to their views on human memories, sleep and dreams, and psychopath versus sociopath, and addictions and human behavior, and it was good. They spent some time, put some charts up. We had our PE kids go through and ask questions, and they were taking pictures. I participated in the memory experiment, and they gave us 15 words, and then you had to write how many syllables were down. And then the second one is they said a word, and then you say positive or negative, and then after that you're supposed to try to remember what the word was, either positive or negative. And the bottom line is they talk about remembering human memory. To remember it better is you have to try to personalize it. And so, some of the words were positive that I can remember. I had positive was Friday, positive was sleep, positive was money, negative was rain, positive was work. Come on now. Positive was fall, negative was hospital, negative was bills. Those are the words that I could remember out of the 15 that I was given. I think I did a little bit better on that one than I did the syllable one, so whatever that means. But I just thought it was neat, and they asked staff to go through. Staff did go through. They did participate too. So I wanted to recognize that because Dr. Barker, Professor Barker, kids liked him. He was fantastic, and so I just think that was really cool. I just wanted to explain and thank Prairie State for coming here and doing their thing too. So anything from this month, like I said, it's in there. If you have any questions, let me know. I just want to talk about last month because I thought that's neat. And I don't know if we'll do it again. I don't know if he comes back. It depends if we have the class and all those things. So I just want to recognize him and our kids. Thank you.
Dr. Gahan.
Mr. Meyer, you didn't tell the board what last week was, though.
Oh, guidance counselor week. I apologize for that. I put enough in there about the guidance counselor because he did. That's actually why I put so much into the guidance counselor week. But remember, he does like donuts. That was one of his responses on an email. I tried to give him a shout out, and kids were giving him high fives. So yes, cannot forget Mr. Sarson. I apologize.
Every time I saw him, every time. You know what today is? Yes, Steve, we know what today is. And again, I don't like to single out individual sports teams, but it needs to be acknowledged that we are the last remaining undefeated boys basketball team in the state of Illinois. Only one in the state of Illinois. Girls, I think there's two. Lincoln Way, one of the Lincoln Ways, and something else I read in the paper, but it didn't affect me because it's not Beecher. I just know the boys are. We got the 1 seed, and that will start this weekend. We got the first round bye, so good luck to the boys at that. Couple things weren't in my actual report, or they were, and I want to make sure the public is aware of the update on that. First of all, we had 2 commercial FOIAs this past month. Both obviously were satisfied in required time. We did finally get approved for the small maintenance grant. If you remember, that is something I applied for back in November because of some turnover at ISBE, and that at their level. I submitted it to ROE submitted it to ISB back in November. It finally has gone through, so next month you should see, as one of your extra revenues, a $50,000 small maintenance grant issued to us. Secondly, Ms. Black did allude to it. We did take a old school snow day during that little span. And again, my educational philosophy, that's not always liked by teachers, but I guess that's why I'm the superintendent. And I am not a proponent of 2 consecutive remote days. I understand the one kind of gets you a nice little review day, but putting 2 in a row to me it does not feel right. It feels like we're losing a day, and we have that emergency day built into the middle of March. End of March, beginning of March, March 1st. So with that being said, March 1st is a school day. So it was going to be a 4-day weekend. We're going to use that emergency day. So March 1st, that's a Friday, is going to be a school day. You still have a 3-day weekend with Casper Pulaski Day on that Monday. And then lastly, kind of an update on the Stifle debt certificate situation. This week I'm meeting with Mr. Marr and the Stifle attorneys and everything like that to do a prep work for our due diligence call. The due diligence call is going to be with creditors where they find out if we are capable of borrowing the money that you guys have requested for. And so that's kind of the next big step that we have to take.
It should not be a big concern. They've already provided me the questions and spent some time making sure that I have answers to those. But just want to kind of give you guys an update. The HVAC and the roof are all both part of that money that we're going to be asking for. With the money that is still left over, I talked to Mr. Stanula, and if you remember, Larry was on the board at the time. Might have just been Larry. Actually, I'm not sure if you're. When we did the abatement at the elementary, one of the things we cut out was the tile in the 4th and 5th grade hallway. It's getting bad. It's not going to get any better. It's now a tripping hazard. We're guessing it's going to be around 60,000, still underneath that 2.1 that you guys are looking for. And again, the things we borrow the money, it has to be spent on capital projects. And so I am going to have Mike go out for bid to get that done. That way it can be, again, incorporated within that debt certificate. We can't use this debt certificate to pay salaries. It has to be within the concept of capital improvements. That will get us over that 85% threshold, and so we'll be in good shape in that regard. So we're on track. There has not been any hiccups, knock on wood, with the borrowing of that money. So that's what I got for you before Ms. Compton comes up and does her amazing presentation.
All right, Ms. Compton.
All right, Joe. Moment of truth. Let's see if it works.
Want me to move my noodle here?
Your noodle is just fine.
And then
Tell you what, Joe Duncan.
check this button to.
Hit it, yeah, see what happens. Did you turn it on?
Maybe.
Oh.
All right, so I apologize, my daughter's had a softball tournament this weekend, and I was doing some yelling, so I have a little bit of a rough voice going on today. So I just kind of wanted to give you an overview of where we're at as far as our staff and our population across the district. At the elementary school, we currently have 6 special education teachers, 13 classroom assistants, 2 of them being one-on-ones. We have a social worker in each building, which that has just recently happened over the past few years, so I very much appreciate the fact that we've been able to move towards that. You can see our numbers there across all 3 buildings. I'm not going to read that to you, but district-wide, we do have 1 school psychologist, 2 speech paths. We have an OT that comes once a week to do any evals that we need. We do have a CODA that's there every day, and we have a physical therapist that meets with a few of our students. The biggest trend that we're seeing is I feel like there's a sign out there somewhere that says move to Beecher if you have young kids, because our special education program is great, because our numbers at the elementary school have grown tremendously. Just looking from the 21-22 school year till now, our caseload average has gone from 11 students per teacher to 18 students per teacher. So we have a lot of new faces in our program, so I very much appreciate the board approving us hiring a kindergarten special education teacher, because it's very much needed. Our EC program, when I first started, we had a half-a-day classroom, where now we have 2 half-day classrooms that are full, and I have people on waiting lists trying to get into the program. So, those students are now moving into kindergarten, and we're really struggling to meet their minutes and things in their IEPs, and we've had students move in with things in their IEPs that we really struggle to service, because we don't have the staff and the manpower to do it. So adding that teacher, I think, is going to be tremendous, because we know already, just based off of our EC population, we have 8 students with IEPs moving into kindergarten next year, and that's not accounting for any new students that we have that come to Beecher. I think kind of one thing that sticks out to me, just looking at all this growth, is our 2nd grade classroom. When we started the year, kind of joked with the teacher, like, you're gonna have such a great year. You have 5 kids in your math group, 5 kids in your ELA group. She is now at 12 kids in her ELA group and 11 kids in her math group. And that's over the course of a little over half of the school year. So some grades are feeling the effect more than others, but we're growing for sure. And that's within the district. Outside of the district, at our external placements, which again, we have worked diligently with them in placing students appropriately. And I took a visit Friday to some other external placements that are not within our co-op, and I can say I am very grateful that we have the co-op opportunities that we have. Our CAB program has 10 students right now. Our ELS program, we service 12 students, and that is split between Reed Custer and Wilmington. We have 1 student at Fisher, 3 at the SOIC Ed Center, and then we do have 2 students placed outside of our co-op. 1 is at Menta and Bradley Bourbonnais, and 1 is at Acacia, which is in Willowbrook. We did, number-wise, we again are on an uptick there, not as bad. Last year we had 25 students in external placements. This year we're at 28 right now. But on the flip side of that, we did actually transition 2 students back to district this year, and they are doing phenomenal. And it's been really exciting to see them. And both of them came back from CAB, and some of the staff from CAB has come and done some training with our team here to help support those students as they transition back, which has been great. And it's just fun for them to see the students and see how they're doing in the general education environment, so that's been great. And then the other part I'm going to touch on is what we've been doing for MTSS, RTI. Not a whole lot has changed at the elementary school. We are still running our WIN groups, giving that small group instruction. We just completed data day last week, and we were really excited about the gains that we saw in our star scores in grades 3 through 5, and we really feel like a big part of that is the amount of small group instruction that the teachers are giving. I think it's really helping that direct instruction. We're seeing fewer students being referred to MTSS because of that process, so those are all good things that we're seeing at the elementary school. The junior high probably has seen the most change with MTSS. We're meeting more consistently as a team. We're meeting twice a month to talk about students or if there's any concerns, if we need to move kids in and out of groups. We are using IXL and other strategies to support those students in the areas of reading and math. We do have a few students that are in there to get homework help or check out at the end of the day, just to make sure that they're writing their assignments down and going home with what they need, and really just giving those students what they need. As a whole this year, last year at the end of the school year, we rolled out kind of what we wanted to see moving forward at the junior high, and we've really focused our efforts this year in supporting the general education teachers in starting to pull some small groups in their classrooms. I'm not going to say it's all been roses. It's just a different beast at the junior high. It's harder to do just with our schedule and the limited amount of time that you have those students in your classroom. But I'm happy to say that teachers have done a nice job of trying some new things and trying small groups and working on different interventions. And that's something that we're going to continue to talk about as the year goes on. At the end of this month, we actually have PD coming to the junior high on differentiated instruction for those teachers to help them, try some new things and see how we can better support our students. That's kind of based off of last month. We had them fill out a Google form, so we could get some feedback from the teachers of where do you feel you need support. And so that was one of that and behavior. They felt like they needed more support, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And then just a couple other things that we added at the junior high is we did increase our tier 3 supports to 5 days a week with small group sizes, and then Mrs. Rojas, who is the social worker, has started to do some IXL challenges with the students just to get them excited about using IXL and getting them involved more, and that's been really great for them. The high school, again, not a whole lot has changed there either, but we're doing well with what we're doing. We're using Ingenuity to help with credit recovery. I will say our paras have been wonderful. I know study hall is not a huge chunk of time, but what they get done in study hall is pretty impressive when I've been in here and I see them. They do a really good job of knowing who's in their classes and who's, on that borderline of they might not make it, and they pull those kids in here and they work with them really hard. And we're seeing the results of that. Our semester failures were down for a semester, so I think they had a lot to do with that, so I really appreciate all the work that they put in. Our social workers and Mr. Sarseny are still meeting weekly with boys and girls groups to address some social emotional needs. And to just kind of go along with that too, we're gonna be bringing in a presentation on healthy relationships, that'll come second semester. And again, they're still using school links, as well. So those are some of the things that we're doing for MTSS at the high school. And then just a couple things I wanted to talk about that are new this year to the district-wide. We've just recently started working with the truancy officer liaison from the Regional Office of Education to help support our students that have a hard time getting to school on a consistent basis. She's been wonderful. She's come out and met with our families and with us as a team so we can sit down and put some things into place, provide transportation for students that need help getting to school. We've, just put some things on paper, which has just helped keep everybody accountable. The family, the school, the students, especially with our older kids, we definitely need more buy-in from them. But she's been great. So, we're gonna continue to meet with her. She's coming out next month to actually meet with myself and our social workers to help just brainstorm some more things that we can do to help support more attendance out of our students. And then the second thing there is Teach, Train, Thrive. It is a workshop that we have coming district-wide. I went to the Illinois Administrators Association of Special Education Conference last year, and I met, her name's Lainey Lawson, and she really impressed me with her workshop that I attended, and I thought it would be something great to bring back to district. So she's gonna come in, when is she coming? I don't remember now. Our next full PD day. She's gonna talk to the staff about different strategies to work with behaviors. And when we say behaviors, I'm not talking those big behaviors, just even those little behaviors, classroom management things, and just help things run more smoothly. And again, that's what the teachers were asked for, so we want to make sure that we're supporting our teachers. And then the last thing that we brought to district this year is Culture City. As you walked into the buildings, any of the 3 buildings, you may see some new signage around that kind of looks like headphones. Culture City is an organization that just helps communities become more inclusive in training not just our teachers, but our entire staff was trained on this program. And it's great because it involves the community, and it involves, we have some students that, you look at them and you don't see a disability. It really supports those students that disability isn't visible. We have students that sometimes they can't handle the noise at a basketball game. So there's signage all over the buildings so if you're a family that is coming to an event that we're hosting and you know that you have a child that might need some sensory things, you can go to any of the administrators at that event, whether it's a basketball game or graduation or a band concert. And we have items available. We have weighted blankets, we have headphones, we have fidgets, we have all those sorts of things available. We have a quiet area that's designated in each building for those families to use. So again, I think it's just great that our staff has been trained on it, and also, we can provide that to our community. So it's kind of what we've been busy doing this year so far. So, any questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, next up is committee updates. I know Beecher Youth Commission just had a dance, and they have another one coming up.
Yes, next month. The dance the other night was very successful. There was about 255 people there, I think. It was a sock hop. It was a lot of fun. These little girls were so adorable in their little clothes. I'm just like, it was amazing. But that's kind of it. We're going to be moving forward to plan Mom and Son, which is next month. And I apologize, I don't remember the exact date, but I know flyers will be coming out soon.
Okay, and then PTO.
I spoke to Kristen, she didn't have any updates, so they have a lot of things coming up with Raise Craze coming up. I think it's the week before and the week of, or the week of and the week after spring break, so.
Okay. Next would be the Booster Club.
We didn't meet really. They're still looking for ads to put the signs out by the field. The Chuck-a-Duck has been a huge fundraiser. The kids have really loved checking the little ducks, and there's different prizes. And then they did do a donation. We did do some fundraising for the young lady in Moments and combined with the cheerleaders. We'll be probably meeting soon to plan for what we're gonna do in the spring to do more, but that's it.
Okay, and the scholarship committee, I'm guessing they may meet soon?
We did meet, yeah, well, I wasn't able to be there, but they did meet, and Mr. Saraceni was supposed to hand out the essays, I'm guessing he did on January 29th, okay, and they are due back March 29th, so they have about 2 months to get those in, so we can then start reading them for choosing the scholarships.
Chamber of Commerce, anything?
No,
No?
just a change of leadership, and Mr. Sanders is now, I think, in charge of communications.
Okay. Not Casey's, Carbs. I always say the wrong thing. Carbs, we meet next month, is our next meeting. Right, in a couple weeks. Is it next week?
Absolutely.
It's coming up.
It is coming up. It's not next.
No, it's next month. Yeah, I had it. And what's the last one?
The Beecher Education
Oh, Education Foundation, that's coming up soon.
Yes, they are feverishly preparing for their event on the 24th. It's getting close and very exciting, a taste of Texas, so everyone's looking forward to that. They haven't met because they've been prepping, so I'm sure it'll be a really fun event.
And next is old business. So first up is the second reading of the Press Plus 113. We took a month off, remember, so we could kind of, I guess, talk to the community and see how we were feeling. Does anyone have any comments or anything we want to talk about before I make the motion? No? Okay. I need a motion to approve the Press Plus 113 second reading as submitted.
So moved.
A second.
Wickling.
No.
Diachenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
I think there are some safeguards in there, even though it's poorly written, so, yes.
Belt?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Missouri?
No.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next is policy 460, and this is brought up to discuss the option of increasing the superintendent's single expenditure without board approval, because during the past few months, he's had to make some calls, because his limit right now is $5,000. And with inflation, how that happens when we have like the bus engine that needed repaired before it went. The newest thing has been a water heater. Like, these things can't wait till we have a meeting and we can all get together, but he can't purchase those things because they're above 5,000. He usually, he calls me and says I'm doing it, like kind of asking for forgiveness because it has to be done. But technically he can't, and I asked to put this on here to see if we could talk about upping it to, nothing we've done has been over $10,000, I don't think.
Oh.
It's always been about 7, 8, like it's barely that threshold. And I feel like with a $11 million budget that he runs, I think I trust him for being able to make a $10,000 choice if the school needs it to function. But it's on the docket for us to discuss before I make a motion.
Wasn't the last ask around like 7,000, if I remember correctly? Like when we
That
discussed
would
this
have, I think the last time we discussed it was 3 years ago. It might have been my first year. It was pre-referendum, and I believe Ms. Pappas was the president at the time, so it's at least 3 years ago.
But yeah, I mean, we can talk about what we want to raise it to. I think $10,000 is I don't think it needs to be 15 or 20 or, I mean, everything seems to be under $10,000. I'd hate to change it and make it like 7 and it's still too low because the water heater was over 8 and I want to say the bus was 9 something, 8 or 9. This was just the past couple, this was just in the past couple months. So, I mean, do we have?
I feel like 10,000 is fair because, the major expenses seem to fall right underneath that threshold.
And that's not saying he's gonna go spend $10,000 willy-nilly all the time, but if it comes up. Okay.
I hope my track record of 3 years shows that I'm not out here to spend money.
Yeah.
I get yelled at by my administrators a lot that I don't spend it on.
I need a motion to approve the increase of superintendent's single expenditure without board approval from $5,000 to $10,000.
Did you make that delayed board approval?
So moved.
Second.
This would be a first reading, so
Yeah.
this would not take effect until next month's when they have a second reading.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flipping,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next up, I need a motion to enter executive session for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2C1, 5 ILCS 120/2C9, and 5 ILSCS 120/2C11. So moved.
Second. You say that so poetically.
I want to make sure I don't mess it up.
And for those keeping track at home, that is for compensation, discipline, performance, and litigation. Those are the reasons we're going to executive session, in case somebody wants that Cliff Notes version.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Missouri.
Yes.
Flipping.
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
motion carried.
Well, first we can discuss what they are, if anyone has any questions or concerns about them before I ask if they need to be handled individually. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So, with each one of it, it needs to be its own individual action item because of the nature of them.
Okay, so, I will start off with 1 and 2. Are there any items in those that need to be separated, or can I group them together? Okay. I need a motion to acknowledge the intent to retire of elementary school aide Joy Walker and the resignation. I can't say.
You got it.
Resignation.
You got it.
Junior high cross-country coach Nick Kapeczynski.
Kapczynski.
Kapczynski.
So it's throwing up phonetically. I'm sorry.
Who do I teach elementary?
Doing great.
So moved.
Second. Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flipping.
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up is the junior high dean position and stipend.
So I do have a question about that. Just kind of so I can understand a little bit better. Maybe I'm a little bit confused. Maybe it sounds like a silly question, but so what's the need for a dean? I don't know. Is the dean and the principal kind of the same position? And my thoughts are because, you know, we do kind of need a 4th grade teacher. So I'm just wondering, like, are we doubling up on these positions?
Your dean is like your assistant principal. It handles your behavior. So that's and then, yeah.
And this is only part-time. This is only an additional duty.
I just, like I said, I just noticed there's a need, and so I'm just wondering, okay, well, if we already have this, why are we?
We don't have a junior high dean. That's why we want to add the position.
Again, but I was
Yeah.
confused regarding principal dean, thinking like same position, doubling up.
No.
And the other thing that we mentioned, it was during personnel, so it might have been an executive, no, it wasn't an executive. But the junior high is the only building right now that doesn't have a second support administrator. Mike has Bob here, and Bob is half-time also at the junior high, but he has Steve, Bob, and himself here. Nicole has Dawn at the elementary, so Michelle's kind of always there by herself. Not always, Bob's there half-time. So this kind of gives her an additional support, so when she does go to meetings that are curriculum-based or RBC-related, she's
There's
able to do
somebody
it.
in the
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Like I said, I was a little bit confused, because I'm like,
And the junior high, they're angsty, man. And to have someone else's support, because I know when something does come up, it takes over her whole day. And then she can no longer do her job because she's dealing with behavior. So hopefully this opens it up to where she can be more there in the building with the students, doing what she needs to do, other than dealing with this behavior issue of this one child for 4 hours. Hopefully, I'm hoping that helps alleviate some of it by adding this.
That's the plan. That's the plan. And so the way it works is because it's theoretically a new position in the district, the first action item that you, Ms. Bell, will ask for is the creation of it. And the stipend is the stipend that we talked about in personnel. So that it's a little more than what he got for being the principal for that time. And then that would follow in for the following year. So there's that action item, and then once that action item is created, a position, and then you would actually hire the position as the second action.
Now, once we create the position, are we okay to turn around and hire him?
Yes.
We don't need to post it or anything?
No, everything
Okay.
tonight is non-union related,
Okay,
so
okay.
everything in there.
That's what I
is-
wanted to verify.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
If they were union positions, if you're creating a teaching position,
Yeah, you
then.
have to hire, you have to post one
correct.
within.
He is,
Okay.
both the positions would be a administrative
Okay,
position.
I just wanted to verify.
Great question.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the.
Ms.
junior-
Flickman has a
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Real quick, just in case I did, so the $3,200 would be like his total salary or stipend, obviously?
Correct, that would be the,
Okay.
yeah.
For like the whole year, or?
Well, on top of his normal that he
Yes.
has now
Right.
for.
Kind of
yeah.
like with Mr.
So
Du
that's
Bois,
just-
he has a
Yeah.
athletic director stipend, so he gets
Right.
his teacher pay plus the stipend.
Right, okay.
Yep.
So obviously this would be for, was it 3 years? So would that be, is that his stipend for the year? Or just?
Yes, that's
for-
Yeah,
for
each
the-
year,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I need a motion to approve the junior high dean position and stipend as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Belt.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Quigley.
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, and then next, I need a motion to approve the employment of junior high dean Carrie Peichel.
So moved. Second.
Effective school year 24-25, so he would start, his official dean duties would start.
This summer.
Okay.
Yep, just for clarification. He will be doing some training, I'll have him do some stuff at this year to finish out the year, but his effective starting time would be next year. Sorry,
That's okay. You done?
never.
I don't want to step on your toes. Flores.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Quigley.
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is the technology coordinator specialist positions. Anyone have any questions or need more clarification on that?
So to answer Ms. Missouri's question that she asked, that I know she's going to ask, is this one of those things again? So right now, we don't have anybody in the district. Now again, Joe does a lot. We have Joe stretched very, very thin. But I mean, the honest thing is, right now, we're in a world where everything is technology-based. We're doing a math series adoption that's coming up pretty soon. That's gonna be basically technology-based. Everything that we do, there's SOPA program, everything we're doing is related to curriculum, and we don't have a curriculum person in charge. We don't have a curriculum director at all, I get that. But we don't have somebody who can go through and actually consolidate the 15 different programs that we currently use to, hey, here are the 3 that are either we pay for instead of paying for 7 or 8, or this is, I know he's kind of started a little bit, and he's already saved us a significant amount of money because he already looked at some of the high school courses, and he's able, along with the help with Joe, he was able to align our lab courses to where we don't actually have to get a brand new computer lab next year. We're gonna be able to use it as, can I call them docking stations? Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
So we can actually replace it with docking stations. They can use their Chromebooks, and that one little thing has already saved the district a significant amount of money, and that's without him having to dig too deep. And so being able to allocate some of those funds, and again, it's not, I know it's a new position, but it's not like we're hiring a new person. It's just taking a person we have, giving them additional responsibilities, and then
Compensating them for it.
and part of that is the additional compensation for it. So it wouldn't be equivalent to I know 4th grade teacher was brought up, but it's not equivalent to that, like a $60,000 teacher. It's, I can't talk about this, it's definitely not $60,000.
Unfortunately for him.
And Joe is amazing. He got back to me very quickly on that remote day for Noah. Thank you.
So,
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the technology coordinator specialist position as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickman,
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Motion carried.
So next up, I need a motion to approve the employment of technology coordinator specialist Paul Vogel.
Effective.
So effective
July 1, yep.
July 1.
Same thing.
It's not on there, so you can't be mad at me because he
Sorry.
didn't add it.
I apologize.
I just read what I'm supposed to, people.
So moved.
Second.
Flickman,
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is the employment of a kindergarten special education teacher whose resume was in the board packet. Does anyone need any clarification or discussion on this item? No? Okay.
Just for, we had some very, very, very good candidates. I was very happy with the pool of people we were able to draw. And I'm extremely happy that the person we offered it to has accepted.
Are we a destination district?
Maybe. Not signed yet.
I need a motion to approve the employment of kindergarten special education teacher Lauren Garza.
So moved. Oh, I'm sorry.
Or second.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is the high school water heater we had talked about a little earlier. We needed a new one. One was bought, so I need a motion to approve the not to exceed $8,500 expenditure to replace the high school water heater.
So moved.
Second.
So just so you know, again, because it's my job to make sure you guys know when I circumvent certain authorities. I promise you, I was not trying to make the board look bad or anything like that. When the water heater goes out and you're in a food serving district, if the health department shows up and they say, let me test it, and you fail, you shut down the school. I'm sorry, you shut down the food program. I can't chance that, I apologize. So I did call Ms. Belt to let her know about it, so just for full transparency, that's why it happened. I can't have the health department shut this down.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickman,
Yes.
Diachenko. Yes. Motion carried.
Okay, next up is other discussion items. So the Sowick Fisher Building Project.
Yep, so, I sent you guys an email. Sowick, the actual Fisher School is looking to expand. Now, the building itself is not getting bigger, but right now they have, I showed you guys the drawings and everything like that. They have plans to take what the current administrative offices and conference rooms upstairs and then some of the space in downstairs, revamp it, add classrooms, add bathrooms, and expand the Fisher's program. So that was approved by the SOIC board, which I sit on, me with the other SOIC members. So now they're going to look to pay for that project. Now, when they went out for the project originally, it was 2.2, I believe is what I gave you guys in terms of that, the Stifle conversation. Completely separate than our bond. This is, the fact that Stifle's a very large bonding company has no relation to the debt certificates that we're looking for. So, as a part of a co-op, certain percentages are our responsibility. In the co-op that is SOIC, we have, I think it's 9% of the student body that goes to SOIC, which means any bill that is on SOIC's table, 9% of it is our responsibility. So that 2.2, we had two options. Now, that number has changed a little because they actually did the bid, they heard back today, and that
is about $800,000 short. So, she's, the plan is to try to, and again, this is not us, this is, Dr. Frey is gonna be working on this. I have a board meeting tomorrow morning that we're gonna hear more about this, but she did call to kind of give me an update.
Excuse me, sorry.
Good?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. She's gonna reallocate some of her ESSER funds to cover a portion of that. So it really breaks it down to about $300,000 that needs in addition to what I provided you before, which would be an additional $40,000 on behalf of Beecher. So, the discussion item I want to have with the full board here, and I know I could have taken it to finance, but I think it's a better to have everybody here and kind of have that conversation. I need to provide Dr. Frey a direction tomorrow from our board. The two options are, we pay it off. It's give or take about $300,000, $310,000 that we owe on this project. Half of it would probably be from this school year, fiscal year, and the other half would be next fiscal year. We cannot use our debt certificates to pay for this. This is a complete, because it's not a capital improvement for our school. Yeah. So that's one option. We can do $150,000 this year, $150,000 next year. She is looking into, it's called a maintenance of effort. And according to the state of Illinois, if whatever you pay on special ed, you have to pay the next year or more. You can't pay less, and if you pay less, you have to have a very good reason of why you pay less in terms of SPED services. So every year, SOIC takes care of our, it's called MOE, takes care of our maintenance of effort. What Dr. Frey has contacted ISB and trying to get cleared with them is, if we spend $150,000 this year and $150,000 next year, does that now lock our MOE in at an additional $150,000 a year? Or if, for instance, if a student moves out, she can easily rationalize, well, the reason it's a $33,000 difference is because Beecher didn't have the student. She wants that clarification from ISB before she can make that commitment. That could be an option. Option B is, like you guys have seen with our own debt certificates, she bonds it out, she pays it over 7 years, and we give them what would equate to about $42,000 a year. We would earmark $42,000 a year payment for them for 7 years, which is a smaller amount, will not affect your MOE, because like I just told you, one student moving in or out costs us about $30,000 to $40,000 anyway.
But then we have interest on that.
You would. Which is why we are kind of on the cusp. There are school districts who owe a lot less, and they're just going to do a lump sum. There are some school districts that pay a heck of a lot more, and they're probably going to do the bonding. And so I provided you all that information.
Okay, yeah, because that little amount, I'm guessing we're not going to make more money on it than we're going to pay interest, like the debt certificates we're doing. The reason we're doing them is because we make more money doing it that, like it costs less.
Right, we're able to offset the interest, yes, at this time. My recommendation is what I told you in this, it would be to do the lump sum. Just pay it. I know I'm very hesitant to touch those reserves, but.
Is that, so where is it coming out of?
So it would be, so we still have to do an amended budget anyway because of the HVAC system. So part of the amended budget, it would just go into the ed fund from the SOIC.
We have 4 million in reserves, so it'll just come out.
So it comes out, okay.
So, yeah, correct, it'd be part of that, over the next 2 years. And that's kind of where we're at with it.
If it doesn't raise our MO.
Right, if it raises our MOE 100%, the answer's gonna be no.
Right.
I wouldn't even bring that to you guys because they kind of pigeonholes us for a very long time.
But otherwise, yeah,
Okay.
that would be my opinion. Yeah.
And again, this is just, tomorrow when I go there, I'm gonna talk to Dr. Frey and say, this is kind of where we're at in terms of Beecher. This is what we think is best for us. She may come back, because if this is the case, she still has to go through their lawyers to make sure that there is a capability of, so if the 7 of you want to go together and buy a house, well, Mandy wants to pay her portion off, but, Ashley wants to kind of loan it out, they gotta figure out the legal ramifications of all of that. So this is still a long way, but I'm at least able to now give them an idea of where we're at.
Well, and once we have our amount, if something comes up where they need to spend more money, that may be an issue also.
That's the other part that lawyers
Because if they say, it's $300,000, we pay our $300,000, oh, by the way, we went $500,000 over budget, we need more money.
Right, yeah.
That's on you.
Or if, you know, in my case, you know, Mandy pays off her portion of it, and then, you know, 3 years down the road, Ashley leaves and says, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
We're still on the hook for, again,
Yeah.
this is a hypothetical.
Yeah.
We're still on the hook.
Yeah, because you can leave, I mean, a school district can leave
Yes.
that cooperation,
So
co-op.
before any of that can happen, they actually have to
Yeah.
have the lawyers look at it, but,
Just a heads up.
I will make sure that we are not liable for the additional money if somebody leaves the co-op. I have zero interest in leaving the co-op. As Dawn said, the co-op is fantastic. Dr. Frey's doing great work. They do a lot of good things for those kids. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next, seconds matter improvements.
So Seconds Matters is, his name is Mr. Jim Drum. He actually used to be a food service director, worked with Kara a little bit, not with Beecher. But he has a security program, a security company that he works with. And so I had to come out to look for 2 reasons. One, all of our keypads around all of this building and the elementary are very old, outdated, and kind of like I told the board 5 years ago when I came in here and found out there was 40, 45 keys in the town of Beecher that nobody knew where they were, but they went to all of our buildings and we rekeyed them. It's just kind of the same thing. The system is used on an old PDA. That's how we update it. Like, it is literally like an old PDA that Mike has to update. He can't do it remotely. And so I had Mr. Drum come out and look at all of the ones we currently have, and also look at the junior high to get an idea of what it would cost to get keypads put into there. They came out last week, obviously he hasn't given me any information. However, Mr. Drum is going to assist us if we decide to move forward with it, once I give you guys the numbers, in getting the COPS grant. That is a grant that comes out in March to help with safety and security of school districts. The other thing I'm having Mr. Drum look at is the blue pole stations. So as he was walking around, he has maps of the building. He's gonna give us an idea of, hey, those who don't know, a police pole station is just like a fire pole station, but they're blue, and if you pull them, it goes into the police department, not the fire department.
And anyone else on the system?
Anybody else on the system, 100%. So he's gonna give me a cost for both of those programs, and then I'll bring them back to you guys for consideration, and whether or not it makes sense for us. But it was a very, very good, and Joe and their tech guy were just geeking out together. It was it's fun to watch. So.
Okay, reflectors flyer.
The only reason I'm bringing this to you guys, I think it's either part of your packet or I may have sent it to you. Me as a parent and B as a superintendent, I 100% support this program. The only reason I want to make sure the board's aware is it takes place at a church. And I'm not saying this is any kind of religious affiliation, but before I advertise that there's a parent group for special ed students who want to support one another, that's what this is about. It's not a youth group, it's nothing like that. It's a parent group who would like to help and associate with other parents with students with special needs. Like I said, if it didn't happen at a church, you wouldn't have heard about it in a board meeting. I would have sent it to you in an email saying, hey guys, this is something we're gonna advertise.
And they're only using their church facility to
As far as I understand it, yes.
So I go to this church, and the Reflectors program, they've been doing at the Dyer location for years, and it really is just like for anybody in the community, and it's not just for people that are with kids that are like differently able, but anybody can come, and it's like a whole community thing. But it's geared towards people with disabilities, just because there's not always like community places for them to hang out and have game nights and snacks and stuff, so.
I'm just really making sure that nobody, and again, it sounds mean this, but I just want to make sure nobody is going to say, hey, Jack, don't do this, it's a bad idea. Just want to make sure everybody is aware and fine. So
Are they wanting to send it home or
Through the Friday flyers?
They'll probably send it home in the Friday flyers with Friday folders, yes, Friday folders, the elementary, and then I'll probably have Joe probably put it on the school website and just do a blast home.
So just one question. So we're doing this for this group that is meeting at a religious
At a church?
Yes, so are we setting a precedent, like, now can we, if someone else comes in and says we have this, we can review that?
Oh, yes,
So-
yeah, I mean, the flyer itself, the only, again, things still have to get approved through the school district in order for them to be, like, I approved the Peatone football minis that went home on a Friday folder. It takes place in Peatone, it had nothing to do with a church, so I just kind of approved it, yes. But no, this does not, I would not think that this now means anything that somebody just gives me that I have to pass out. There's still some kind of,
That's my thing. I don't
Yeah,
want
just
all of a
wanna
sudden
set
these
a
Friday
precedent.
folders to be like junk mail folders. Where
And if-
everyone wants to send something home for everyone. But I mean,
and
realistically, I mean, we have a lot of churches
Yeah.
in Beecher and surrounding areas. If they all want to send home a flyer about everything they're doing, like, I mean,
Right.
and then same
And
thing,
it-
community groups, I mean,
right.
I feel like this subject though pertains to the kids
Yeah.
for the nature of it. And then I do remember like when Brittany was younger, like when Zion, when it was still Zion, they used to have like a movie night and we would get those flyers in the school folders. So, I mean, I think certain things, like again, this like kind of pertains to the school, special education, special group. I think something like that is worthy of us sending it home in the folder.
Agreed.
And it is a,
I'm sorry, and I believe at the bottom there is a
It
caveat that
says,
says
yeah,
this
it
is
says
non-teacher to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
She did add that at my, I think my request, maybe not.
well, I think everything that goes,
Yeah.
isn't it typically everything that goes home that isn't a school event has to state that?
Yeah, it pretty much
Yeah.
It
does.
should, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and it is good for, I think it's a good community relationship. I just wanted to make sure we weren't setting a, some kind of precedent about it.
100% right.
And nothing wrong as has to do with the kids and the families. Like, I don't wanna send something home with like a chili cook-off for like
Yeah.
just people.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. We
Yeah.
don't want it to become more like it's
Yeah.
the mailer for every event in town, as long as it's student focused or someone.
No, it's a chili cook-off. We're not-
That we have one in November, I'm just.
What?
my kids always
My kids
start.
always work at
Yeah,
Yeah.
my husband won 2 years ago, first place.
Man,
Yes. A lot of
but it's
kids
not
go
a
to
chicken
that.
chucking.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Can you win the chicken
There's
chucking?
no, I know, right?
Got a chuck attack tomorrow.
We've got a chicken.
Okay, next up is clear registration update. I
All
know
right,
you
so-
sent out, but
I'm sorry.
you sent out, I think it was in your board report.
Yeah, so, again, I want to kind of give the community an update and give the board an update. So I sent you guys the various letters. We're still going to clean up the dates a little bit. I want to work with Joe to find out, make sure the dates of when those registrations will be opened up. But we did kind of our first clearance, just to see how the program worked. And then we worked on the threshold. I did reach out to a few school districts who do use Clear, and I said, hey, how do you use this program for your registration process? Just to make sure that, you know, we're not outside the bounds of what they normally do. And so I don't reinvent the wheel. This actually came from a neighboring district, and I loved it. And so after working with them and communicating with them, what I would like to do is exactly what I told you I wanted to do when we got this program. So we have I think it was 1,924 parents within the school district who this program is run through. After we've cleared out, I'm going to say clear. The name of the program is Clear, but I'm going to use the word clear a lot, sorry. Well, nobody at home is. Anyway, after going through all of the information out of that 1,924, right now I'm at 51 people. So I took it from almost 2,000 to 50 people. Now, we still have some extra people that we're gonna, that are still registering, things like that. We are still gonna use again, if I came to register at Beecher, you all know I don't live in Beecher, okay? I would still be cleared in the system because I would not lie on my registration. So therefore, it doesn't pick up people who,
Oh, okay,
so if I say I live in Sauk Village and I provide you all the information I live in Sauk Village,
it doesn't catch it.
it won't catch it. Now, because I'm homeless and things like that. It doesn't catch those just because you're not a Beecher. It doesn't say, you're not Beecher. What it does say is, you know, you said you live at 538 Penfield Street. Is that a place? I hope that's nobody's house. 538 Miller Street. You say, Ms. Diachenko, you told me you live at 538 Miller Street, which is the high school's address.
That's a safe one.
Right, that's the same one. And what will happen is, you might have one piece of information that does match you to 538 Miller Street. Maybe your, I don't know, your vehicle registration back in 2021 was 538 Miller Street. But everything else tells me that you actually live at your real house, which I'm not giving the address to. You would not pass the clearance because you have not falsified, but you have not met the threshold of what they're asking for. So what I would like to do, what those nearly 1,000 families, well, I shouldn't say 1,000 families, 950 families, is provide them a document that says, congratulations, you have been cleared for registration. You do not have to upload a document, you don't have to step foot into the school district. Congratulations, you've lived here, we know you live here, you're good to go. The other 50 families, we now can focus the energies of my district office on and say, hey, you have to come, you have not been cleared, again, 50 is an arbitrary number, it could be 60, it could be 70. You have not been cleared, you have the entire summer, these dates to come in to do the registration. And if you don't, sorry. So now we've put all of our efforts into families of 60, 70, however it happens to be. And those other 950 families get a second notice later that says, hey, you were cleared, we still need you to check off that you're going to pay the fees, that you understand that you still live there. If you falsify that you don't live there anymore, it's a Class C misdemeanor, you will be charged with a criminal Class C misdemeanor, and that you agree to the handbook, things like that. So that's more of a checkbox that, yes, indeed, we still do all these things. That is the plan I wanted to do back in the day. I have contacted some school districts. That's actually what they do. I think it's going to be really nice for the families who continue to do the right thing in our school district.
Well, and the secretaries in the summer. That would take a big load off their plate.
Well, I mean, it's the whole reason that we implemented the system in the first place, to make it more streamlined, to make it more efficient for our families who have lived here for long, and I don't have to bug my husband about uploading our ComEd bill every summer.
Where's the last one? This one's past due. That's been 30 days.
Yes, so make it easier in our community, and then, yeah, focusing on.
And one of the new documents, Ms. Gersh actually pulled out today, because we have a family who's going to register, and she even goes, oh my God, this is already easier, just because she has something in front of her that says, these are, I need 2 from here, 1 from here, this is what I need. So
So you said you have already 50 flagged?
yes.
Interesting.
Parents. So if no, students, parents, students and parents. So if you have 4 kids, all 4 kids would be flagged.
Right.
Because all 4 attached to the same
Or maybe
parents.
divorced and one parent's flagged and the other one's not because they don't live with that one, yeah.
Now, would we still have to come in, like, I get daycare bus service twice a week. Would I still have to come in to register for that, like, those other forms, like when I have to register my elementary kid? If I'm not flagged and I don't have to do anything,
So part of that second email will be basically that last page of your registration.
all that little stuff.
Yep,
that we've
so
done.
when you'll still be asked, you'll still need to go to log on to Power School, and there you'll see Joe's little, you'll bypass all the upload stuff. There'll be a, hey, are these still your contacts? Yes, good. Are these,
Okay.
Do you
agree
require
with the
bus
handbook?
service?
Okay, here's e-funds, have a great day.
Right, what you're actually eliminating is the proof of residency.
Yeah.
We know you live here.
It'll still have the bus service question, it'll still have that all linked
Right,
and everything.
Right, it's just the prove to us you lived here
Yeah.
portion.
So Katie doesn't have to go out and check the houses.
Thank God, because you know, I
Exactly.
had to get a new car, because my old one
Wait, is that on?
That makes sense.
Borrow his cars.
Okay, next up, fiscal year 24 positions update.
So I wanted to, and this is one of the things where I wanted to talk about the 4th grade, so I can get a firm direction. So you guys we've just talked about the dean position, the technology coordinator specialist. With Mr. Peichel moving to the dean position, we will post for a vacant junior high PE position. So And
Now, would that be full-time, or would that be share, okay.
Yeah, that's full-time. And so we now have those positions. Those were the plan all along. I've been very open with everybody along the way, through personnel meetings, through board meetings. Again, I understand, and I don't behoove people, is that the word? I don't know, I'm gonna say behoove.
It is.
I understand the referendum passed. I do. I'm very, very, very happy that it passed. But I've also told you guys, I do not want to be the superintendent that it passes and then in 2 years, we're back in the same position and I'm back out to the community, because I guarantee, as good of intentions as we may have had, they're not going to give a rip if in 2 years you're back asking for more money. It's not going to happen in 2 years. I get it. One position isn't going to set you over. I get that. Which is why in my email, I'll express it verbally so it's on record as well. I have to be very mindful when we just add something. So, going to this 4th/5th grade topic that I emailed you and I want to bring up here. If you hired somebody this year to finish off the 4th grade year, you can. You can. That person would probably start in March. They would be here for a couple months. And then, be honest with you, if you only want them for this year, there would be a riff on April, at the April meeting as well. So you'd hire them in March, riff them in April. And you got them for a quarter. You also have to go through the due diligence of, now I have 86 kids. I now have to break up those kids and put everybody into a fourth class. And as easy it might be as, well, A through this, I have relationships, I have buddies, I have friends, I have everything else. I get it. We could do it. It would be difficult, but we can do it if that's what the board would like me to do. And you can finish off the year. Maybe we find somebody to fill that void now. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I can look. You won't get a current teacher because current teachers are under contract, and they're not going to leave another district to come here because their license would be totaled. I'll be honest with you. If somebody left us mid-year to go somewhere else for greener pastures, I would go after their license. During the summer, it's a completely different story. So, what I propose to you guys is one of two things. Well, one of three things. Option one, you write it out. I don't think that's where you guys want to go. I know that's not where the community wants to go, and I wouldn't want to do that for next year. Option two, we have added, I think, 6 kids this year. 6 kids throughout the year. It's a different story today than it was in August when we had this initial conversation. Now, we've also had conversations along the way with the teachers, with the administration. You can hire somebody, give them a job through this year, and you can either release them at the end of this year and keep the position open and hire a 5th grade person next year, or you can keep them on board for the following year. Or, option 3, understanding where the numbers are, they're not going to get any cleaner. You open up a 5th grade position for next year. You have 4 sections at 5th grade. But I will tell you right now, my recommendation at the end of the year will be to riff that position. Because I don't want to get us into a cycle of, well, where can we put them now? Where can we put them now? Where can we put them now?
Do we have any upcoming retarees that have announced? That at the elementary level, it's up there and they moved to the junior high?
No, is anybody retiring at the end of 25?
No.
Next year, no.
Okay.
We have one who has 2, we have 1 with 2-year, 3 with 3 years.
Okay, another question. The class obviously isn't getting any smaller when they go into junior high. If we choose to put a position, could we specify, because there are going to be big classes at the junior high, so they're still going to be big.
Well, the junior high, you still have, you have a class right now that are 90.
It's still big.
No, you're-
86 kids is still split among the same sectioning. Can we look at how the sections are going to be at the junior high to potentially hire someone with a licensure? Because when you get to 4th and 5th grade, they're going to be ELA, math, or science certified. Most of those people are going to be, K-8 will have a major. Somebody who has a certification that you can build, like people can move into the junior high to take on another section.
I mean, the answer to that, I can give you an easy
Possible.
answer. Possibly. But versus an elementary versus a junior high, you're very specific of what you're,
Yeah.
I mean, do you want me, well, I need somebody at, our social, I want somebody at social studies.
Yeah.
Because you have
3 English, you have 3 math teachers.
Yeah.
You have 2 science and 2 social studies. So are you suggesting, well, make sure that the elementary person also has a social studies background? I mean,
Well, right now,
I-
the numbers are 89 at 7th grade and 96 at the 8th grade. And are they, is there any issues there right now with those numbers? Because what is this, 86?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I said.
89?
You'll have, you
So
always
it's
have
the
some that are a
same
little
as
bigger and
7th
some
and
are
8th
lower.
grade.
Yeah.
they
Like,
would-
they have
they would-
large classes up there. It's-
Yeah, they would always love that support, but being a former junior high math teacher, yes, I used to teach way back when. I had years where I had a class of 30, but in the same year, I also had a class of 20, so I had that break. At the junior high and high school, it's a little bit different because I will have that one class that's a little bit smaller and it kind of gives me a break in the day. The elementary level, they're yours all day long. Even when you change classes, that class doesn't change. And as I just said, now, you can riff a position, I know, that doesn't mean that you're cutting the person. So at that time, if you riff a 5th grade position, that individual could still apply for a job that you open up later or somewhere else. But what I don't want to get into the habit of, and it sounds very mean, the superintendent's supposed to be, I'm pro-teacher, I get it, but I can't tell you that I want to get back into the game of, we have 4 teachers at this grade level, next year will be at this, and it's a year ago. And I think Ms. Hanson just had it up, you don't have another class that's really big in the elementary right now.
No, they, first
Yeah,
and
was
kindergarten are
That was
small.
gonna be my next question. Are any of the other
That's the
grade
junior
levels as
high.
large as
So
the
like
4th
the
grade?
elementary.
No, the
Well,
lower elementaries are 60s.
70s,
Second
74.
grade's at 74 right now.
No, but I mean the ones coming in,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
from kindergarten from first. It's not like we got a whole big influx still coming in,
No.
like it's actually going down.
No, it's still second grade's at 74. So
That's
that
still low, I
potentially
mean.
has potential to get to 80.
I don't know, but 29 kids in a class is not acceptable for me. I'm sorry, like,
And
it's
I've
not
heard from multiple,
acceptable.
not just the mom who emailed, but from
No.
other parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
That they're-
acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah, that email wasn't the first.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, it's
But
not.
we also, we've talked about it plenty of times this year.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
4th grade teachers didn't want to add a new one, even right before school started when we asked. They said no, they don't want to split their classes, they want to do how they were.
I wouldn't recommend
Dr.
it for this
Gahan has
year.
been checking on them,
Yeah.
and they keep saying, everything's fine, we're good, we're doing good. I mean,
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for this year, but
I definitely.
this is the,
Yeah, not
these are
that-
the
it's
kids
too close to
who
the
were
end.
affected from COVID,
Yeah.
one of the ones that are the most.
Because they were
like-
kindergartners, right? For
Yes,
COVID?
like,
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think this year will be effective. I think it'll make it worse if you had a 4th one this year all on the board. I don't
Yeah.
think, I mean, obviously, you know, whatever, but, I mean, but then, I mean, I don't know, you hire for a 1-year position, and then you be in, I mean, I know that there's not a big pool anymore of educators, people going into education. Back in the day, people would love a 1-year position just to see how it goes, but maybe you will find someone that 1-year position because they want to figure out what they're doing, but.
or they want to get their foot in,
Right.
in the door. Because who knows, at the end of next year, who may choose to leave? Who
Right,
may want to go
so-
to another district, who, you know.
And you can post it. I
You
mean,
can
that was my
post it
first job.
1-year
Was that it was-
position.
It was a 1-year position that I took for my first job, so that, I mean, you can be clear with a potential, because we don't know. Maybe that second grade does get 10 kids in next year, and we're in the same boat where we're gonna need another section. I mean, if we're honest and say, look, we're looking for a 1-year with a potential for multiple years.
You don't have to say potential, because I mean, you could just say 1 year, because we don't know, and, but I don't know.
I definitely think it's too late this year, as much as I wanna support those children. I mean, is there any, there's probably nothing at this point, but like any type of other supports we can put in place to help with this class size? Any assistance, any
have the
I think they've
Double
been
parent.
trying already, I think that they've been
And
doing as
they
best
got
they
aides.
can, yeah.
Okay.
I'm always supportive, if Ms. Black says, can I do X, the answer is gonna be yes.
Yeah.
Even, and I mentioned that Miss Hayhurst, Miss Hayhurst, not Mrs. Hayhurst, she's the last aide that you guys hired, she, I believe, has a teaching degree now. And so I said, even if you wanna pull her and have her create math groups and reading groups to work with groups of kids, and they ran into that same problem, well, how do I know what kids to pull and, you know, and it's not, I do reading all day long, it's not just during that 1 or 2 sessions, and it's not easy.
No.
If it was easy, then I guess I would do it in this
So the teachers at the beginning of the year, they didn't wanna split and they were happy with keeping it the way it is. How do they feel at this point? Like, what are our 5th grade teachers looking at? Like, has it worked for them?
What do you
Have
mean,
gotten
the
any
fourth
feedback?
grade?
Because they've added kids, well, 6 is a big.
If you gave them the option, I'm 99.9% sure they would say, give me a teacher.
I mean, it's, again, we're almost to March at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I'm just thinking,
Yeah, because to be fair, the last time we asked them, it
Next
was probably, in January, I think we've had 3 or 4 since January move in. I mean,
Yeah.
so at that time, it was, well, I got 20, I got 27, 28. It's tough, but it's not awful.
Yeah. No, I think I mean,
Well, I believe we set an informal, and I don't know if you were superintendent?
That was with Kay Bradley, yes, that wasn't
Yes,
me.
that was it. That
You're
was
not
it.
gonna hear a number from me, Mr. Aaron,
Okay,
because
all right.
if I give you a number, then I'm locked into a number.
oh, like with the
Well, we had
class
a,
size.
do not go above 30, so, or actually, it was do not go above 29.
Right there.
But if you, again, as I said in the email, I'm 100% supportive of anything you guys want to do. If you tell me right now, hey, post right now and see what we can get for March, and if you get 4 or 5 people, then we can have that kind, you know.
But even if we posted now, by the time they
Yeah,
went
it's
through
not
the new
gonna-
clearance and everything like that, you're
I
literally
feel
looking at
Yeah,
2
April.
months.
The end of
This
the
year
year
is,
anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
this year is, I think, a wash, unfortunately, but
And you've got a better chance of getting a highly qualified candidate for 5th grade if we go ahead and even post
Do it now.
now. And you never know. I mean, you can't even say, maybe it's for 1 year, because you never know what's going to happen next year. Somebody
Right,
could
like
have a
Lauren
baby
mentioned,
and
that
they decide
second grade class
they're gonna
could
stay
jump to
home.
that
I mean, it could be
80 number
anything.
as well,
Yeah,
depending
you
on
never
who's
know.
in here,
But
and
obviously,
that
I
could
would put
create a
on there-
third grade position.
yeah.
Or put on there, it's at least gonna be a looping position, meaning, or,
I would
you know,
just
like
say
you
1-year
need to-
position, be honest, we don't
Yeah.
know.
It's just an elementary position. You can do it as
1 year
silent.
elementary.
Yeah.
Do we do art?
So, those interviews were today and tomorrow, so that
Okay.
is in the process.
And that's for elementary, junior high?
Elementary, junior high,
Do-
split position.
Each of the 4th grade teachers have an instructional assistant all day in their classroom?
I don't know if it's all day, but
Because, I mean, that could be something if, you know, as many as you can allocate with all the other things you have to do. You know, maybe to help with some of the small grouping is having just another physical dog as often
Yeah.
as they would like one. Or whatever.
I'll let Ms. Black know. You
Yeah.
referring to maybe potentially hiring another one in March?
Maybe, yeah, I mean, that could be,
Okay.
if we want to do something immediately post, or if one of our subs that are certified teachers are willing to,
I think it's a constant opening.
Yeah.
For instructional.
but if there's any subs that were teachers that would maybe be willing to move into maybe an IA for just the rest of the year to provide additional support, which seems for the sub pool, but that is an option you can maybe do. That way you have somebody walking around while they're teaching too.
Well, if something, I'll open a 5th grade position for next year. I will renew, not the term I want to use, but not reopen, because it's already open. I will refresh the instructional aid thing and let Ms. Black know that if there's somebody, if there's a local parent in Beecher who would like to get a parapro license. Okay.
But we do want to emphasize that it's only for a year. So that they're not surprised they're going to be
Yeah.
drifted at
Right.
the end of the year.
We already know it's not your first year.
I know riff's a bad word,
Yes.
I get
I
it.
know, but when you're not tenured, it's always a possibility.
Yeah.
And then, I guess in a couple months, if we don't really have any interest in it, we'll need to discuss and make a solid plan for next year so that it's not, maybe we do already allocate and hire an aide per classroom. Like if it can't be
Oh,
filled.
you'll get
I don't
a-
foresee it
You'll
not
get a
being
5th
filled,
grade
but
teacher, 100%. You'll get an elementary teacher.
that's all we're adding for 24.
All I have plans for.
Okay.
And again, my thought is see where we are in a year or so from now, and then at the same time next year in February, March, reassess our next school year and where we want to go from there.
Okay, items for the March 11th board meeting. Does anyone have anything now that needs to be added onto there? We will need the second reading of the
416.
threshold, 460, policy 460.
On the March one, I'll have a renewal of the Mr. Meyer and Ms. Compton's contracts, because they are yearly. Ms. Black and Ms. Dr. Kwasny are on multi-year deals, so.
Why is that?
Because Mr. Meyer and Mr. Ogden and Ms. Compton were teachers in the district beforehand, so when they left the teaching realm, as long as they still had a yearly contract, they'd still maintain their tenure. But as soon as you put them on a multi-year deal,
They start.
they lose their tenure. Versus Ms. Black and Dr. Kwasny and myself, I've never taught in the district, so we don't have tenure here. So.
All right, upcoming dates are, as already mentioned, February 24th is the Beecher Education Foundation dinner. Next up is I need a motion to adjourn.
Like it all.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay, all in favor,
Aye.
yay, aye.
Yes, aye.